Darren Dreger and Pierre LeBrun. It is a Thanksgiving weekend edition of Insider Trading. And Pierre, as we know, because of COVID-19, yes, there was a mild frenzy and free agent frenzy, but not too many face-to-face meetings in this free agent period because of the pandemic, but one rather large one, I would say, in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right, Dregs. And we talked about the possibility with some of the higher-end free agent. Well, there's no higher-end free agent than Alex Pietrangelo, and he did on Saturday get on a plane with his wife and visited with the Golden Knights in Vegas, which is what UFAs are allowed to do. Normally, you'd see this during the UFA speaking period in the old system, but they got rid of that in this new CBA, so he does it post-free agency. And it is really about finding out what it's like in Summerlin, where the players live, the facility, all those things, to see if there's enough mutual interest to get a deal done between the two sides. But everyone was clear in saying this is a UFA visit, and we'll see where it goes. But certainly after Toronto signed TJ Brodie and the St. Louis Blues surprised a lot of people by signing Torrey Krug to essentially replace Alex Pietrangelo, Vegas clearly the front runner. No other team or city on tap right now for Alex Pietrangelo. The focus is on Vegas, but if he doesn't like how the visit goes, certainly there's, it's his right to reopen the market for himself and see what else is out there. But for now, all eyes on Vegas and Alex Pietrangelo.
Well, if Alex Pietrangelo is number one on the free agent list, then right behind him, of course, is star forward Taylor Hall. Now, Taylor Hall and his group, headed by Darren Ferris as representative, have really spent the last couple of days looking at all of the presentations, be it Zoom or conference calls, etc. This day was spent paring down that list, and they've got a short number of teams that they're still mulling over, but no different than Alex Pietrangelo, with the exception of the number of teams that are still involved. This is a complex process. In Taylor's case, he's looking at short term, he's looking at long term. It has to be the right roster fit. It has to be a very strong NHL team. Otherwise, he's not going to consider it. And again, no different than Pietrangelo, Taylor Hall knows that his future is at stake here. So he is going to take as much time as is required to ultimately make his decision. Speaking of time, how much time does Julien BriseBois and the Tampa Bay Lightning have, Pierre, to cut some salary space out of that organization? Tyler Johnson clears waivers. I don't think too many people were surprised by that, but what do you think Julien BriseBois has to do next now?
Well, I think he's going to have to attach an asset to Tyler Johnson in order to move that contract. And Tyler Johnson's a good player, but this is more about the fact that this market is absolutely paralyzed by the difficulty in moving money. I mean, you saw it the other day with Columbus moving Ryan Murray, a dependable defenseman, and only getting a fifth round back. That's what it costs. It's hard. So I talked to a few teams again after Tyler Johnson cleared waivers, and if you attach a draft pick to Tyler Johnson, maybe they'll have interest in making a deal. So that's a tough pill to swallow for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have to cut about $10 million from their salary cap here over the next couple months in order to re-sign Sergachev, to re-sign Cirelli, re-sign Chernak, and of course Andrei Vasilevsky, who's in for a $6 million raise. So pretty difficult position for Tampa to be in. And remember, Tyler Johnson has a full no-trade clause. He was working with the team. I mean, he gave them 8 teams, started at 3 and went all the way up to 7 and 8 teams, but still inability so far for Tampa to move him. They got to move him, and they got to move another player during this offseason to make it all work. So difficult, but certainly that's what Tampa has to do here.
Well, not surprising, given the flat cap. The majority of the signings that we've seen thus far ultimately have been short-term signings. The players recognize the difficulties of the financial restraints. The agents obviously recognizing that. Exhibit A would come from the Edmonton Oilers and Tyson Barrie. Barrie hitting the reset button on a 1-year deal at under $4 million. $3.75 million for Tyson Barrie. So that's certainly been the trend throughout the pandemic here and this free agent signing period. For Pierre LeBrun, I'm Darren Dreger. This has been Insider Trading.